Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today we're going to be talking about some beauty empties. I have a ton of makeup trash here in front of me because I haven't done one of these videos since August, so it's a little bit overdue. And I have a lot to talk about because yeah, it's been many a month, so let's just hop on into it. I do not want to get too chit-chatty and rambly. I've got a lot to share, so let's just get right on into all of my empties. So let's kick it off with skincare. The first item I have here is the Pacifica Kale Detox Cleanser, an absolute favorite of mine. I've gone through so many of these. I love it so much. This is so good at leaving my skin feeling very balanced, yet cleaned and detoxified. I don't feel like my skin is ever stripped or it feels too slippery. Like, it just feels perfectly in balance. And this really does help keep my skin at bay. I only use this at nighttime. Even if I'm not wearing makeup, I still use this to kind of just remove all of the impurities from the day and to remove my morning time skincare so I can kind of start fresh. But even when I do wear makeup, I use this as a second cleanse and I absolutely love it. Hands down, an absolute favorite. I will be repurchasing it constantly, as I have done for several years now. I already have one of these in my bathroom cabinet. I'm using it currently. And just as a side note, there is fragrance in here, so that is something to be wary of if you try to avoid fragrance. Me personally, it's not like a deal breaker for me. I'm very cognizant of how much fragrance is in products, but with a product like this, not an issue whatsoever. I think it's just so damn effective. I wouldn't even concern myself personally, but a matter of personal preference, of course. And what I was actually going to say before I got into that tangent is that I have tried to cut into this in the past to see if there's any product left in it, but this is such a like slippery kind of cleanser that it completely gets completely used up from this tube. So you do not need to cut into it to get any more product out of it. It all slips right on out of there and right onto your hands and down the drain. So no worries with cutting into this, but I love this stuff so much. It's so dang good. And another cleansing product I have is the Slaai Makeup Melting Butter Cleanser by Drunk Elephant. This is a makeup removing balm, so maybe I should have talked about it first because this was the first step in my cleansing routine that I used for evenings for quite some time actually. I was kind of rotating between using this and then the First Aid Beauty one, which is in my last, my most recent empties. Didn't love that one, but this one was definitely much better. However, I still felt like there was a bit of a residue that this left behind, a little bit of a slippery, oily kind of finish. So what I do with this, and honestly most cleansing balms and cleansing oils at this point, is I will put this all over my face. So I would take a scoop out of it and put it into my hands. I would run it between my hands to really work it into more of an oil, and then I would work it onto my face. And then my hands still covered in like the product and a little bit of my makeup that broke down. I'd run them under hot water, under my tap, fill them up with water, and really work the product into the skin, using that warm water to really just help everything break down together. And when I would try to put my face over the sink and start working the product off of my face, I found it left a very slick residue. So what I would actually do instead is I'd take a damp microfiber cloth and, well, actually fully saturated, warm water saturated microfiber cloth, and I would just run that all over my face to really pull everything off of my face, so it would remove dirt, makeup, and the product and leave my skin feeling nice and balanced and ready to go in with my second cleanse. That's just the most effective way for me personally. I know it's a little bit extra using a makeup removing cloth and then still using a makeup removing balm, but it's the best way to make my skin just feel so ready to go in with a second cleanse, and that way I don't have any of this residue left over. And I'm trying to not only clean my face, but also try to clean off another product. I don't know, I just want my skin to feel ready for the next step without having any remnants of this. So yeah, I really did like this, but the price point is so freaking high for this. It did last me a long time, but it's just so expensive. I actually picked up the Versed one recently. I haven't yet tried it out yet, but I did pick that up to replace this, and I'm really excited to try that one out. Another Drunk Elephant product here, this is the Lala Retro Whipped Cream. This was such a nice, heavy moisturizer. I personally really liked using it at night, but my boyfriend Patrick would actually use this during the daytime. So we flew through it pretty quickly. And the one thing is that it's like a pump. Oh yeah, we busted into it to get every last drop out of here, but it's like a pump, so you have no freaking idea when you're gonna run out of products. So that's the one downside to this, and the price tag. So we haven't repurchased it. I do really love it. I do think it's super effective, and it felt so nice on my skin, and it just really made my skin feel nourished without feeling heavy. But the price point is just not something I'm willing to spend my money on at this point. I have a Derma E nighttime moisturizer that I'm using right now, and I do think it's pretty good. So yeah, I don't really feel the need to repurchase this, but I really did enjoy this, and it was really nice on the skin. Got another expensive moisturizer here. This is the Marc Jacobs Youthquake, and this was super nice for the summertime for evening. I would use this after I did my full nighttime skincare routine, and this was just so nice because it didn't feel too heavy or too rich. I don't really like products that feel super thick or creamy on my face. I like something that makes my skin not feel tight or not make my skin feel stripped, but I don't like a feeling of having a lot of product on my skin, and this definitely did not feel like too much product, but it was very effective. However, again, so expensive. I cannot be spending my money on products like this anymore. It doesn't make sense for me. So unfortunately, even though I really did like this and I did find it very effective, no, I can't be doing that. That ain't me anymore, you know? So I have a couple actually other moisturizers here that I've been slowly getting use out of. One of them being the Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors Plus HA. I had this kicking around for quite some time, and I used up this mini very recently. I think this is a really good product to use underneath of makeup, but I don't find it to be a really good nighttime sort of moisturizing product because it sits really nicely under makeup. It makes my skin feel, you know, nice and balanced, but it isn't really rich enough for evening time, and that's because it doesn't really penetrate into the skin. It's more of like a topical kind of moisturizer, so it sat really nicely underneath of makeup. It was really great for underneath of sunscreen, but it just wasn't quite enough of what I want for the evening time. This in combination with like an oil or a product like this one actually, which was the B-Hydra Intensive Serum from Drunk Elephant, really good combo to actually be able to like deeply penetrate the skin and make your skin feel very nourished beyond the surface. I did also recently finish this up as well. I think I will probably end up picking this up in the larger size eventually once I've worked my way through some other moisturizers, because I don't know why I'm like a moisturizer hoarder, but once I finish up a few more, I definitely will pick this up because I do really like this underneath of makeup and just for daytime use in general. It's really nice, and it never broke up my makeup products at all. It made my skin feel just really good, but not slick, and I could put like makeup products on right after applying this basically. So I really did enjoy that. And then this, like I said, I would use this in combination with the Ordinary moisturizer, but I also really enjoy just using this in combination with any moisturizer. I have gone through a larger size of this in the past. I think this one was a Sephora 100 point perk, but I'm not going to be repurchasing this because it is a little bit of an extra step. I'd rather just find moisturizing products that offer enough hydration for me that I don't need to add something like this into my routine, but I really do like this. I think that this product is so good. I think I raved about it when I finished it up in the past, and it's, yeah, it's nice, but it's not an essential step. Actually, I don't really feel like Drunk Elephant is essential in any way, shape, or form for me. I had a lot of fun exploring the brand and trying out their products and feeling bougie, but I'm coming back to like being a little bit more frugal and coming back to being a little bit more, you know, cheap and cost conscious than I was for a while there. I don't know, before I just was like, F it, I'm just gonna try this out because I was so, I'm already on a tangent, but I really struggled so much with my skin in the past for like 8 years or almost a decade. And so I just felt like, you know what, if I spend good money on my products, then I will have good skin And I don't really believe that to be the case anymore. I was very fortunate because I did go on a Purist, which is a isoretinoid. So I did go on to medication to clear up my acne. So I was fortunate for that because now my skin is okay. But I felt like I really needed to just spend and buy like luxury products to keep my skin okay for a while there. But I've come to realize I'm pretty lucky now, actually. My skin is very resilient, and as long as I use a few key core products like the Pacifica cleanser, I don't need to try out the newest and best thing out there. I just need to be very diligent to ensure that all of my makeup is off my face and that I'm properly hydrating my skin as well. Okay, anyways, and another hydrating sort of product is the Pacifica Coconut Probiotic. What was this? This was the moisturizer? Yes, I have the cleanser that's similar to this as well. This was just a mini. My sister gifted it to me for Christmas last year. This was okay, not intense enough in terms of hydration for me. My skin is normal to slightly dry also, by the way, but this just wasn't quite enough. It was nice, again, under makeup, it was okay. It wasn't rich enough to use at nighttime in any way for me. I had to put an oil with it for nighttime, but this actually was so nice to use as like a priming moisturizer. So I would oftentimes do like my full skincare routine in the morning where I would use a moisturizer and add on my sunscreen. And then if I wanted to do my makeup a little bit later on in the day, I would put this on as a primer and then just go right in with like my foundation. And wow, my foundation will look so good on top of this. I don't know what it is about this, but it would like just blend so well with foundation products and tinted moisturizer products. Really loved it for that, but I don't really think I'm going to repurchase it. I have moisturizing primers that I need to get some good use out of too. This was the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cannabis and Oat Dry Oil. This was so nice. I really enjoyed this. You can see though, my packaging is all busted up. I put a piece of washi tape in the top here because the dropper actually just like crumbled in my hands one day and just fell out of the top. And it was such a nuisance, so I ended up decanting it into this little Ole Henriksen Truth Serum Mini Pump. I have had this kicking around empty in my collection for a long time, waiting to decant something into it when the time was necessary, so this came in very handy. But for one, I don't really know how I feel about First Aid Beauty. I really just don't think that I'm in the mood to purchase many high-end things just as a whole, but I don't know that I will be supporting them now that they've moved into the Chinese market. I really don't know. I'm really just trying to not spend any money right now. But in any case, this was really, really nice. Like I would put this on after cleansing, or I don't really cleanse my skin in the morning, but after just washing my face in the morning with some warm water and then going in with my toner, I would put this on, just run it between my hands and just work it, like press it into the face, and then I'd put my moisturizer on top. It really made my skin feel nice and hydrated, but it is a dry oil, so it made my skin not feel too slick or too heavy, and that is something that's so important to me. So actually, I used it many a times with this on top of it, like this first and then this on top, and my skin would just feel so well balanced and perfect to apply makeup on top of, but it wouldn't feel overly hydrated. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the scent of this. Can't even remember. It's been a while actually, but I can't really smell it. The washi tape stuck in there, but I think maybe it was something about the scent of this, but it almost felt a little bit like medicinal. And so I had this mentality that it was like a nice barrier between my skin and my makeup. I don't really feel like I've heard a lot of people talk about this, but I actually really love the way that my makeup would apply when I use this, and I really like the way that my skin looked and felt when I used this as well, but I really don't think that it's a necessary step for me now, or a brand that I necessarily want to support either. I also finished off this Lush Tea Tree Water Toner. This actually expired last August. So before the expiry date, I really did enjoy using this as a toner. I would just spray it onto my face or onto a cotton pad and then onto my face after cleansing. But in the most recent summer, I put this in the fridge and, you know, I'd run downstairs to fill up my water bottle, or I'd run downstairs to grab my lunch or have a snack, and I'd see this in the fridge and I would just spray it all over like my face and neck and my shoulders because I don't have air conditioning where I live, so it was a nice, just like refreshing sort of spray to use, and it didn't feel like it was doing anything bad for my skin. So I used it that way after expiry, but beforehand I really did enjoy it. I just don't really imagine that I would ever need this size of this anymore. Like they they sell a smaller bottle of this, and I think that that would be definitely the way I would go, because I cannot use this in the 1 year shelf life. But actually I'm using the Cocoa Kind toners now. I have the apple cider vinegar one and the rose water one, and I really like those. So I don't really think that I need to purchase the Lush one, but I did like it. And then I have this. This is a facial spray by Mario Badescu. This is the aloe, cucumber, and green tea one. I heard these super hyped, so when Mario Badescu finally came to Sephora, I was like, yeah, I gotta try that out. And it was a little bit underwhelming. I'm not really super interested in it or like dedicated to it. I just kind of used it up similar to how I would use the Lush one. You know, if my skin was in need of a little bit of hydration or just a little bit of refreshment, I would throw this on my face, but, well, not really throw. I would spray it on my face, but yeah, I don't know, I'm just disinterested in it. I did actually consider this in my makeup inventory last year, so I will be putting it into my makeup empties for this year as well. I also finished up a lip balm. This one is by Nova Scotia Fisherman. This is the Nova Scotia Sea Kelp scent, I believe. And I used up every last freaking bit of this, and it's a feat for me to finish up lip balm. Basically, I just have lip balm everywhere. I have them like in my jacket pockets. I have them everywhere. And so it was definitely a feat, but I managed to finish this up. I really did enjoy this. I actually have another one of these in one of my jacket pockets, I believe, actually, and it is the sea salt version. Don't love the scent as much as I liked this one. I don't really know what retailers you can find these at, but I do get it at Zayres, and I have seen them actually at Canadian Tire as well for my fellow Canadians. No idea where else you would find them, but it was a really nice lip balm. That's the only product that I've tried from that brand, but I have gone through one other one in the past, and I'm now on my third one, and I really think it's so nice. My lips feel very nourished without being like super, I don't know, slick. I really don't like heavy or slick feeling, if you can't tell from this video exclusively. I like my skin to feel just balanced, including my lips, except for the lip glossy. That's a whole different level though. And I also finished up this sheet mask. I actually just used this the other day. This is by Seventh Heaven. I'm not really one for sheet masks. I just find it extremely wasteful. Like, look at all this packaging for one single like 20-minute use. So I did actually receive this in PR, which I'm really fortunate for, but I really don't have any interest in using sheet masks. It really did solidify that for me. This is the 24-hour hydration anti-pollution sheet mask. The cool thing about these is that the actual mask itself is made of bamboo fiber, I believe, and it is biodegradable. So that's kind of cool, but there's still so much excessive packaging, and it's just wasteful in my opinion. Also, this mask, I'll insert a couple pictures here, but this mask was just huge on my face, and it was so hard to function in it. Like, I went up to the kitchen to get a glass of water, and it was like falling off of my face because it was just so big. It wasn't like super saturated in product either. It just was sitting on my face and like weighing down with the gravity. So yeah, not my favorite. I do have two other ones from this line, two different like styles of this, or I don't know, why am I having a brain fart right now, but two other versions of this, but I actually think I might just put it up in my local Buy Nothing page on Facebook and just gift them to someone else, because I'm just not interested. Not interested at all. It was a fun experience, I suppose, but not my favorite. I also finished up a couple of toothpaste. These are both from Jason. The first one is the Simply Coconut Strengthening Toothpaste. This is the coconut mint one, and this one is fluoride free. So is the Power Smile actually, but this one I was sent from Look Fantastic, which I'm super, super grateful for. Patrick and I both loved this. It tasted so good, and it made your mouth feel so fresh, and it was really effective at just making your teeth feel nice and clean. However, this is quite pricey compared to other more natural toothpaste options, including this other one from Jason. This is the Power Smile. This is the whitening version. So we ended up just going right back to this one because I think it's like almost half the price, even though this was great. Like, they're both amazing toothpaste. It just isn't really like in our budget right now to be spending like $10 or $12 on a toothpaste when we can spend like $4 or $5, and even still that's kind of expensive for a toothpaste. So yeah, unfortunately I'm not going back to this one, but oh my gosh, did I ever enjoy it. It was a really, really great toothpaste in my opinion, and I know I'm so lame, but I really do love Jason toothpaste. They're one of my faves. Finished off a couple bars of soap. The first one is by a brand called Crate 61. This was the Yucca Mint, so it was eucalyptus and mint, and wow, was it ever an amazing scent. This is a Canadian brand, and I love this packaging because it's super sturdy and actually so cute for a bar of soap. But they only just would have the tiny little corner of the bar of soap poking out so that you could smell it and maybe just see what the product looked like. But there was no excessive packaging, no plastic, anything like that. I can just simply toss this in the recycling and go from there. I really have been like straying away from using body wash or shower gels, anything like that, just because of the amount of packaging. And this is a really great alternative in my opinion. I use this to like shave my legs and armpits just as I would with a body wash, no problem whatsoever. And then another bar of soap that I finished off is the Dr. Bronner's Citrus. This is the Pure-Castile soap. I actually only used this to wash my makeup brushes, and it lasted me like a year, almost a year I think. That's all I use. I don't use like dish soap or, you know, brush shampoo or anything like that. I just use this. It's so great and effective. I have another unscented baby one, I think, of this. I just grab whichever one is like in abundance at the store and catches my fancy that day. So I guess that day I was feeling very far from fancy, so I got an unscented one. But I love using this for cleaning my sponges and brushes. It's just great. And it lasts forever. We're gonna move into some hair care products. This one is a tried and true favorite. If you watch any of my empties videos, you see this all the time. This is the Avalon Organics Clarifying Lemon Shampoo. I just feel like clarifying shampoos are the shit. Honestly, they're my favorite because my scalp gets so irritable, and this just keeps my scalp from getting, yeah, irritated feeling. I hate that feeling when the oils start producing in my scalp. I start getting super, super itchy and uncomfortable, and it's not that I have dandruff or anything like that. I just get really, really uncomfortable scalp, and this prevents that in every way, and it makes my scalp feel super fresh, super clean. Love it. And then this is also something that I have frequently in my empties, but not often, but I do consistently have this in my empties, if that makes sense. This is the Kiss My Face Whenever conditioner. I don't know if this is available anymore because there was some like rebranding or restructuring or something going on with Kiss My Face, so I ended up buying like 3 or 4 of these at like all at once at my Zehrs because they were on like a super good clearance price. And this was my last one, and this is so good because it's not a super heavy conditioner. It makes your hair feel very soft and detangled without weighing down my fine hair. I have a lot of hair, but it's very, very fine. And so I just find that this is really effective for me. This one just is so good because this was like on regular price. This was like $22 for this massive tub, and Patrick and I would both use it, and it would last us like 4 or 5 months. And it smelled like kind of like Skittles or Starburst or some sort of like sour-ish kind of citrus candy. So dang good. Love it so much. And if I can find this ever again, I definitely will pick it up. I loved it. I also recently finished up this. This is by the Innate Life, which is a Canadian brand. It's a very small hair care brand. This I did not like as a conditioner. This is the Herbal conditioner, by the way. I tried it a couple times and it just left my hair feeling very oily, not necessarily weighed down. It just actually felt like I was putting like a hair oil into my hair in the shower, and so it never really felt like it fully cleaned out of my hair. So I ended up using this actually as a shaving cream and really liked it that way because it would leave a nice like moisturized kind of residue on my legs, and I really did like it for that. I found it was super effective for that and helped me get a nice close shave, so really liked it. But like I said, I don't really buy shaving cream, I don't really buy body wash, so it wasn't a necessity. It was just a matter of getting use out of something that I already owned, and yeah, it was a good way to get it used up. Didn't love it for its intended purpose, but found a way to love it. And actually, did I say that was the last thing for hair care? Because that was definitely not. This is the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioning Mask. This was a mini that came in the Sephora It was like a 500 point perk with Briogeo products. I loved this so much and I really wanted to get this for my birthday gift for this year, but I think it was an in-store only birthday gift and I'm just not going to shops these days. So I didn't end up picking this up as my birthday gift, but this was really nice. Like I said, my hair is very fine, but I do have a lot of it. So every couple weeks I would just put this in while I was in either the bath or in the shower and just let it deep condition my hair after shampooing. And I really enjoyed it. It was just kind of like an amp up conditioner sort of treatment. Loved it, so good. Briogeo products, they have a special place in my heart, including this product right here. This is the Scalp Revival Charcoal and Biotin Dry Shampoo. I loved this. I loved this so much. I think more than anything, I really loved it because of the lack of aerosol kind of component. So as I hope you can see, you probably can't, but this is like a bottle that you can squeeze and it has just a straw that leads to this tiny little opening so you could diffuse the product into your hair. That way you wouldn't like overly saturate the powder anywhere on your scalp. Loved it. I actually have an Acure dry shampoo that comes in like a shaker style applicator, which I do not like because I end up just like throwing a ton of product into my hair and it gets this gray white cast. So I'm going to be decanting it into this and hopefully that will be a really good way to use up that one. I'm not sure if I will ever repurchase this because this is quite hefty. The price tag is quite high, but damn do I ever like it. I love the innovative packaging as well. Ah, this line is just so good, but I really, really want to try out the Acure one that I have in this packaging and see if I prefer it that way. And then maybe I'll just end up buying the Acure one and putting it into this packaging. And that will save me some bucks because I think that's like 1/3 of the price of this one. Finished up this Pure Innate nail polish remover. This was really good for a nail polish remover that is like mostly natural and yeah, non-toxic, no acetone, scent free. It definitely was. It had some sort of fragrance, but it didn't have added fragrance to it. And this is a cruelty-free brand. I believe this brand is also made in Canada. And this was really good. Yeah, it's made in Canada. This was really, really good. I find it to be super effective at just pulling off any nail polish. Like it does its job really well. It does leave a little bit of like a slick kind of finish on the nails and on your fingertips. So I always wash my hands before I actually go in with nail polish after removing my old polish. But this was super good. I used this actually on an old face cloth and I just saturate a section of the face cloth and kind of like hold it on top of my nail so it kind of breaks down the top coat. And then I can just like pull it off of my nails and it's super, super good. I used to really love the one by Mineral Fusion, but that packaging is so annoying because it always leaks no matter what. This does not leak. And I found that this lasted me a lot longer because I could get more nails, like more polish removed with one application of this on my face cloth. Am I making any sense? More product would go a longer way is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I really like this and I did repurchase it. I have recently just opened up the new one and love it just as much. I do order this on Welllll.ca by the way, and I know that they have some other Pure Innate products. I'm not super familiar with the brand, but I liked this and I did buy their top coat actually recently as well. I finished off a handful of makeup samples, which is great. I used them up just in time for an update on my makeup inventory. This first one is the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. I finished off all 3 of these samples, which each one of these counted as individual products in my makeup inventory. So I'm really glad to have used this up. This was a nice serum foundation. It wasn't super heavy, but it did offer like a light to medium coverage. I used all of these 3 different shades at different times of the year, and I found that all 3 of these shades worked. But when I look at the shade selection on the back of the card, it ain't great. The deepest one, which is called SF10, is like a medium complexion, and it's labeled as medium to dark, which is nowhere near true. The shade selection is just bad. I have had this for quite some time, so who knows if they've extended their shade range, but this is just like, just dismal. So it made me so far from interested in purchasing this product, even though it felt okay on the skin. And then I finished off these 2 Buxom samplers as well. This is the Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush. This one was in the shade Dolly, and this one is in the shade Mykonos, which is a peachy shade, and then more of like a pink mauve kind of shade. absolutely beautiful. This sample was so generous. I don't know how much was in here. I don't think it even says, but these lasted for freaking forever. Like, I thought I'd get like maybe 1 or 2 uses out of it because it's just like literally adhered onto a piece of paper. But no, these lasted so long. I don't use a ton of blush. I guess maybe that's a big factor in it. Like, every time that I would use this, I was kind of weary that maybe I'd only have enough product to use on one cheek. So I was shocked every time that there was still like more product left in here. It was pretty remarkable, and I really did like the formula. It felt very nice and smooth. This shade called Seychelles is one that I would definitely be interested in trying out. It's like a perfect bronzy kind of neutral shade, but I own so many blushes and blushes that are kind of comparable to that, so I have no need to purchase one of these, but it was really nice to try out the formula because it was really, really nice. And then the other sample I finished off is the Smashbox PhotoFinish Primer. I have no opinion of this. I've tried this many a times in the past, and it just leaves me just like with no opinion, no view on it. I'm just whatever about it. I finished off my yellow mascara. This was the Colourpop BFF mascara in the shade Yellow Goodbye. I used this in my Graveyard Project pan. I don't really have any interest in picking up any more colored mascaras as much as they're a fun time. They're so fun to use and integrate into looks. This is a bright yellow mascara, and I just did not get enough use out of it. By the time I ended up saying it was time to get rid of it, it was starting to get flaky and dry, even though I'm sure I did not get enough use out of this as much as I would like to at least. So unfortunately, it's not something that I would repurchase, but damn was it ever fun to play with. Like, especially on the lower lash line, it was just so fun. If I had like a yellow shadow and a yellow liner and then this, it was so fun, so cool. I really did enjoy it, but it's just not super useful for me. And then 2 other mascaras I actually recently finished off. The first one is another Ilia sample, actually. This is the Ilia, I think this was the Limitless lash. And yeah, it doesn't say, it just says After Midnight on it. So this, I believe, was the Limitless lash or something along those lines. It was so nice. This wand is so good at separating and just offering so much separation and definition between the lashes. And it would really nicely coat my lashes. I loved this, and I used every last little bit of this that I possibly could because I just felt like this made my eyes look so nice and open, and it did give me some drama without looking clumpy, even though I kind of like a clumpy mascara look sometimes too. But this was just so nice, so nice. I would consider picking up the full size, but that's just not really something that I foresee myself doing anytime soon. And then I also finished up this CoverGirl The Supersizer Fibers mascara. I can't seem to find this to link it these days, so I'm not sure if they have this anymore, but this was not really a great mascara in my opinion. So it has barely any sort of spikes in the wand. It's very, very fine. They're very short. They are separated, but they're very, very short. So I found I couldn't really get a good grip on my lashes to really like coat and separate them. In fact, this made my lashes look kind of clumpy, but not in a good way. Just like I'd have like 4 lashes across the top of my eyes. They just all come together in little peaks. And this was a very dry formula right off the hop, which I like dry formulas typically, but right from the beginning, I felt like I had to build this up on my lashes and I could never really get the impact that I wanted. So it was whatever. I used it for like 4 or 5 months straight though, just to ensure that I was getting use out of it. By the end, I did have to like sit on it to like warm it up in order to get more product actually onto the wand and to actually be able to coat my lashes. But yeah, it was just so-so. It was whatever. I'm never gonna purchase it again. I don't think it was the worst mascara ever, but yeah. I also finished off not 1, but 2 highlighters recently. This first one is the Fenty Beauty Hustle Baby. This is the Killawatt highlighter. This was a mini that came in the Bomb Baby set. So beautiful. It was like a light gold shade. I used this in my Graveyard Project pan and loved every moment of using it up. And it is something that I would potentially consider picking up in the future, but I don't really know where I stand with Fenty. I just have been avoiding purchasing them because they are a gray area brand in my opinion. And this only comes in the duo in the full size, so you can get it with the, I can't remember what the other shade is, but it's a little bit of a softer highlight. And I don't know how I'd feel about that formula, so I'm not really interested in picking this up. It also is Pretty dupable, this shade in my opinion. This is very similar to the Amrezy highlighter, which I have and love, so I don't need it. It was really good and I really did enjoy using it. That's just not something I need to repurchase. And then I also finished up the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Lunch Money. I would love using this as like almost like a priming sort of glow product. So after I put on actual priming products on my complexion, I would put this on the high points of my face, and then I'd go in with my base products, and I found it was really nice to just offer a little bit of luminosity, because I kind of struggled with putting this product on top of base products. So I found it just worked a lot more effectively underneath the base products. I also loved this so much on the body, like on my collarbones and on my shoulders in the summertime and down the front of my legs. This was a beautiful shade though. It was just a nice, soft, again, kind of golden champagne sort of shade, and I just found that it was so beautiful to wear all year round. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was a beaut. I also finished off this First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Tinted Moisturizer. This was in the shade Light, and it was a great shade match for me in the summer, but not so great for me in the winter. Even though it's a tinted moisturizer, I did feel like it was pretty apparent on my skin in the winter time, so I'm happy that I've used it up recently. Shade range on this, not great. They don't offer many shades at all, and in Canada, it's not marketed as having SPF, but it does have SPF in the States. It's just simply because here in Canada, it is considered, I guess, like a pharmaceutical kind of drug, so you do have to actually pay to have a designation for a SPF product here in Canada. So a lot of things are just marketed without it, so they don't have to pay for that DIN number, but that's besides the point. I did enjoy this. I thought it was good, but not any more effective than any of my other tinted moisturizing kind of products, so I don't miss it now that it's gone, but it was nice to get it used up, and I did enjoy it. It was kind of like my introduction to tinted moisturizers, actually, and it sent me on a completely different trajectory than I used to be on, because now I've fallen in love with tinted moisturizers all because of that product. But I don't recommend it necessarily, nor do I think it's like the be-all end-all, but it was good. And then my final makeup product is this one right here from Pacifica. This is the Enlightened Gloss in the shade Nudist. This was a beautiful, beautiful lip gloss formula and color. The scent I could do without though. It kind of had like a funky kind of scent. I can't really pinpoint what it was, and you could kind of taste it as well. So it wasn't amazing in that sense, but this was a very, very similar shade to the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fenty Glow, because I had the mini of that when I purchased this little set, and I found this very, very comparable and reminiscent of that, so I did enjoy it for that reason more than anything. But this was such an amazing lip gloss. I found it was just super addictive, really easy to throw on. It made my lips look really nice, and it went with so many different like eye looks as well, or even when I wasn't wearing any makeup. I did enjoy it. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I feel like I'm super tripping up on my words at this point because I had so many things to say and so many products to talk about, but that's everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.